Three different races, three different stories. Some weather impacted racing, but yet another weekend where both records are smashed. Let's talk about the BTCC and its return this year at Croft. The Croft weekend produced three different winners, two of them the championship protagonists in Tom Ingram and Ash Sutton, but there were also other stories that developed over the course of the weekend as well, in terms of form guide and in terms of pace. I mean, you could see that the Team Virtue and the Napa Racing UK cars were up at the pointy end of the field in each of the three races. In fact, in each of the three races, there is at least one of them on the podium. We end up with race 1 seeing 2 Team Virtue and 1 Napa Racing. Race 2 is one of each, and then Darren DeLeon as the only West Surrey podium. Whilst race 3 ends up with Ash Sutton's win and a double podium for Tony Ingram and Senna Proctor. And it was across the teams that we saw great form. Senna Proctor got a podium in race 1 and in race 3. Tom Ingram won and got a second place. Dan Camish got a second, Dan Rowbottom got a win, and Ash Sutton got a win. And some of that was because of the tyre gambles, for example, when it came to people starting on the hard tyres in race 2. That's where we see Tom Ingram drop down the order because the top 3, if they're on the soft, have to switch over to the hard. But some of it was also due to misfortune. Dan Camish was taken out through incidents where he was put onto the grass and just is a passenger at the start of race 3. Ash Sutton gets a puncture in race 1. And that's why he ends up dropping down the order. It was this kind of thing that just defined the races for different drivers. It was a matter of pace and also, more so than in other races so far this year, a little bit about luck. That being said about luck, there was also some great racing in addition to all of this. There was some beating and banging, some proper tin top leaning on each other. I know that we had safety cars throughout the races that impacted the finishing order, but it meant that when we got bunch up restarts, and even in just natural green flag situations, we ended up getting some really close racing. We ended up seeing drivers 3 or 4 wide into the final quarter at some points. And some drivers made the most out of that, the likes of Ash Sutton, for instance, the likes of Tom Chilton or Tom Ingram. But it also meant that it was an entertaining product. Croft always has that kind of entertainment. Through the flat out bits of sunny in and sunny out, the slow final complex, and the tight and twisty opening couple of corners. We saw drivers forced wide, we saw drivers spun out. Race 1, we saw that happen for Chris Smiley. That was rotten luck for Chris Smiley, actually, but he ends up hitting the curb and essentially turning himself across the nose of Gordon Shedden. We saw it in race 2 with, the battles between the likes of Ingram or Sutton, I think, in race 3 as well, when they were in battles the likes of Rainford or Moffat. It's one of those wonderful pieces of racing that we get, and it's a sign of a really balanced track. The BMWs could be competitive off the launch, and they could be more competitive on different compounds of tyre. Whereas the front engine and front wheel drive cars, don't know why I mentioned front engine, they are all front engine because we don't have any rear engine ones in this. There's no Porsches in the BTCC. It was, it produced a really nice change in momentum over the course of the race, because you'd be like, okay, the hard tyre runners will come back in towards the end, the BMWs will be there at the start, and then they'll drop off in the middle, and they'll come back again at the end. It just means that there's a great on-track product. But the off-track product has proved as important over the course of this week as well. Because, we were without the 2 on motorsport cars, and we were without one of the West Surrey Racing BMWs as well. Jake Hill picked up an ear infection, and missing 3 races, and with complete 0 scores, that's going to have a massive impact on the driver's standings going forward. In addition to that, we had the change in the broadcast following the retirement of Steve Ryder. We had Ollie Bell, who I believe does ITV's racing, leading for the weekend. But we have another change for Knockhill, because he was only guesting for the weekend. From Knockhill, Nikki Shields, who we've seen fronting the Formula E coverage, will be becoming the lead broadcaster. And I believe she will also not only do the rest of the 2025 season, but will also be confirmed for the 2026 season as well. I look forward to seeing how that goes. But I'm going to wrap up by talking about the different standings. And yeah, the driver's title is a 2-horse race. It is Ingram versus Sutton. Ingram is now leading by 8 points over Ash Sutton, and it is just going to be who has the fewest bad races, who can make the most out of when they have to be on a different tyre compound, who is less likely to have mechanical issues, who's less likely to have a run-in with another driver. Behind them, it is their teammates. Robo and Dan Cam separated by 11 points, but importantly, they are 78 points off the lead and 89 points off the lead, respectively. Then is Tom Chilton, another 34 back, who is tied with Adam Morgan. And then we get Jake Hill. 143 points, 130 back on Tom Ingram. Then it's Rainford. Then it's Josh Cook, which is impressive. Still ninth for the standing after missing an event, and still the leading independent. Probably not going to be after Knock Hill, though, unfortunately. Chris Smiley is 3 points behind in that case for the overall standings. We'll get on to independents in a moment. And then you get to Darryl DeLeon, Zedda Proctor, Aidan Moffat. When we look at the manufacturers, Ford are 8 points clear of Hyundai, so the table's a little bit turned. BMW is 99 points off of Hyundai and 107 off of Ford, so again, 2-horse race. For the teams, it's 3 points between Napa Racing UK and Team Virtue, so even closer, but again, in favour of the Focus. The LKQ Euro car parts are ahead of Restart Racing by 35 points, and then in 5th, it's Toyota Gazoo Racing on 188, ahead of Laser Tools Racing and MB Motorsport, who are on 160. For the independents, Mikey Doble leads the way outright from Chris Smiley on 238 to 230. This is where Josh Cook's absence actually harms him a bit more, because he's now down to 4th on 206. Dan Lloyd's overtaken him into 3rd on 216 points. And in the independent teams, Restart Racing is on 308 from 242 to Motorparts Direct with Powermax Racing, and One Motorsport are in 3rd. They've dropped down to 3rd now on 235. They're still ahead of Rocket Racing with Unlimited Motorsport, who are on 220, and then Powder Monkey Brewing Co. with Easy Dock are on 155 in 5th. And then as for the Jack Sears, Darryl DeLeon continues to lead that from Charles Rainford, 272 to 253. Sam Osborne's on 239, James Dorland's on 206, Dexter Patterson is in 5th still on 184. Either way, folks, those are my thoughts, feelings, and observations. As always, thank you so much for watching and joining, and I hope to see you again soon for more. But until then, it's bye for now.